So, in today's class, the students have asked some questions. Okay, so I need to clarify them. So, in the previous classes, I told you that somewhere Go language design created by Microsoft. So, it is wrong. Go language is developed by Google. Okay, so like that, if anywhere if I in the flow, if I state anything, so I will correct them. And some questions student have asked that. So generally what happens whenever we create the objects, class and objects, and what happens to that class and objects, at class attributes and methods whenever we switch off the computer. So one is the question, and another one is that where generally whenever we create class and objects and variables of methods, where they will be stored. That is one question they have asked me. And what happened whenever we switch off the computer? Okay, and permanently where these objects, class and objects and their attributes, class variables and functions means methods will be stored permanently. So this type of some questions they have asked me. So I will clarify them. These classes, as I told you, that free classes, and the classes will be conducted on Friday, Saturday, Sunday sharply at 8 p.m. Without fail. And my intention is what I want to reach to throughout the world, rural world, where the coaching centers, students residing in rural areas, and they are aware of coaching centers, and they are not having proper facilities. So that's why I have designed the classes on Zoom platform. So you students throughout the world, wherever you are residing, from there you can attend my classes and you can contact me, come into my classes and ask the question. Okay, so myself I am keeping my efforts to cover lot of topics over programming. So as per today's class is what is static and dynamic memory? Already we have studied in the previous class static and dynamic memory. So static and dynamic memory, they are two different types of memory allocation. I told you that static memory is called, sometimes it is called as compile time memory allocation, and dynamic memory allocation, it is sometimes run time, otherwise execution time memory allocation. Okay, these two are static and dynamic memory. These two are part of a computer's RAM, random access memory. This is the question students are asked. So static memory and dynamic memory, really they are part of what? Whether they are the part of read-only memory, random access memory, otherwise a permanent memory like your hard disk drive, STD, static, okay, solid drives. Okay, so as per that question, the static and dynamic memory, they are part of, okay, computer's random access memory. Okay, so in mobiles also RAM is there. In mobiles also, Android mobiles, Apple mobiles. In the mobiles also, these static and dynamic memory, both are part of your RAM, random access memory. So let us see static memory allocation. Already we have studied. However, we will keep our somewhat focus over this. So static memory, these static memory and dynamic memory, these are again will be interrelated with stack and heap memory. They are interlinked with static and stack and heap memory. Okay, so stack and heap memory, they are part of your RAM. Okay, So static memory allocation. So it is what this static memory allocation is part of your stack segment memory in RAM. Somewhere I told you that whenever object is created, so object will be created in heap memory and its reference will be in stack memory. Whenever at the time of Java classes, I told you that. Okay, the object will be created in heap memory and its reference means its memory address reference will be stored in stack memory. So stack stack segment of RAM, part of your static memory allocation. Okay, whenever static memory is to be allotted at the time of program compilation, not execute before execution. Okay, at the time of compilation, okay, static memory is to be allocated. It is the part of RAM, okay, random access memory, and it comes under stack memory segment of RAM. As I told you, the stack memory, heap memory. Okay, so this is generally already we have discussed. Memory is allocated at compile time, so that amount of memory needed is set. Okay, amount of whatever the amount needed, that will be set before the program runs. I have clarified that program run or execution, compilation, these two are different terms. Okay, already I have briefed. Compilation means that source code will be converted into object code. Object code, many terms I told you that 0, 1, binary code, binary bits, machine language, object code, all are similar terms. So that conversion of source code into binary machine language, up to this is compilation. So at the part of execution, this code will be sent to microprocessor. Machine language means these binary bits 0, 1 will be sent to microprocessor, and microprocessor will execute them, read them, and give result as a human understandable format, so that we can understand. So amount of memory needed is set before the program runs. Before execution of the program, whatever the amount is needed, that will be fixed. Okay, usage. What is the usage of this static memory? It is part of, as I told, the stack memory segment of RAM. Don't confuse yourself. Static memory, dynamic memory allocation. These two are part of RAM. Static memory will be allocated when? At the time of program compilation. Okay. A dynamic memory will be allocated when? At the time of execution. So whenever object is created, its object will be created in heap memory and its reference will be in stack memory. Both are part of your RAM. Stack memory and heap memory part of RAM, but that allocation is called which type of memory allocation? It is based on what? If compilation time any memory is allocated, that is called static memory allocation. At the time of execution, if memory is allocated, dynamic memory allocation. Okay, so static memory allocation, that is considered with stack memory. Okay, stack segment in RAM. So memory at the compilation time allotted is called, that's why it's compile time. What is the usage? Typically it is used for variables with fixed sizes. Fixed sizes mean what? I told you that integer type of data 4 bytes will be fixed. For float 4 bytes fixed memory allocation. For double float 8 bytes. For boolean and character data type 1 byte fixed. So usage static memory means this stack memory. Okay, so how it will be used for variables of fixed size. And global and local variables. Local variables, I told you that if they are created inside of a function, means method, they will be accessed inside of that method. Local variables. Global variables, what they can be accessed outside of the function or method. Okay, method global, they can be accessed outside of the method also. So that's why they are global. They can be used inside of the method and can be also accessed outside of the method. They are global variables. They are known what with a known size. Known size means already we know their size. Okay, so example, if I have declared a variable like int a is equal to 0, here a is a variable, it is integer data type, 10 the value assigned for them. So in a function are declaring global variables outside of any function. So if this variable inside of a function declared, it is called local variable. If it is declaring this variable outside of any function, now it is called global variable. So now dynamic memory allocation. Dynamic memory allocation is part of your heap segment of heap memory segment of RAM. It's okay. So memory is allocated at the time of runtime. Okay, execution time, which allows the program to request memory as needed. Okay, at the runtime, so it allows the program so that it can request as the memory whatever it is needed. So means memory size can be varied here. Okay, so in static memory allocation, fixed that memory can't be, we will not be able to change that memory. We have any control over that memory as a programmer. So for efficient memory control, management of control, dynamic memory allocation is the best. Okay, we have the control over the dynamic memory allocation, that is part of your heap memory segment. So now what happened, which allows the program to request memory as needed. Okay, so whatever the program needs the memory, okay, that can be allotted as per the program request. How much of memory is needed, that total memory will be allotted. So usage where, so generally they will be used for what, data structures are variables whose size might change. If any variable, its size may be changed, otherwise data structures such as arrays, lists, linked lists, stacks and queues, graphs, okay, such type of any data structures, for them this heap memory means dynamic memory allocation will be done during execution time. Okay, execution time may be, at execution time what happens, memory size may be changed at that memory at the execution time, runtime. So their memory may be changed. Whose memory may be, any variables, any data structures like lists and arrays, their memory may be changed. So that moment this type of memory allocation is very important. That is what dynamic memory allocation. The dynamic memory allocation is under heap memory segment, part of RAM. Both stack and heap, both memory segments part of your RAM. Okay, don't confuse yourself. But question is that whenever we switch off the computer, so your RAM is volatile memory. Volatile means what? Whenever we switch off the computer, whatever the content stored in that memory will be erased. So all that object, class attributes, methods, everything will be erased. So now within that stack and heap segment of memory, both are part of your RAM, nothing is there. Okay, that point to be noted. Huh? So generally, students have asked me that, sir. So then, what happened? So okay, you told me that it is volatile memory. So and all objects and class and their attributes, class variables, file methods, everything will be stored whenever we switch off the computer. Because it is volatile memory. So if I want to keep them